Good evening and welcome to SportsZone. I'm your host, Steven Lucero, and we are now a week into baseball season, and we're going to talk some Texas Rangers. Joining me, Luke Rimler and Rohan Srinivasan. Guys, the Rangers season has been off to a pretty solid start. They lost on opening day. I know we were disappointed here last week, but then they've really had a good run since then. Unfortunately, dropped their last game in Baltimore, but I've liked what I've seen from Texas so far. Luke, what would you say so far? Just a week in, but we've seen some good things, I think.
It's been fun, yeah. Ever since opening day, they've been really promising. Obviously had a little bit of a rough game last time out, but what can you expect? They went on a 4-game winning streak. Everybody's looked good, honestly, outside of, a few guys, but it's looked really good. The starting pitching has looked good, besides Eovaldi, who I'm sure will turn it around. Other than that, all of our starting pitchers have been great, and, that was what was advertised. The starting pitching was going to be great. The concern was the offense, but the offense has been so much better, and it seems like, to me, the guys are friends this year, and that makes a big difference whenever, you have guys on the team that actually like each other instead of, we had rumors about Corey Seager and Marcus Semien not liking each other too much. So I think maybe that's the difference.
Yeah.
Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know about all those rumors with that, but there's definitely somewhat of a discourse, I think.
Yep.
And I just feel like we have seen so much more chemistry. I know it's just a week, but I think these guys are gelling. Rangers are currently 4-2, just trailing the Astros by half a game in the standings right now. But Rohan, what have you seen from them so far?
Absolutely incredible. 0 runs through 8 innings on opening day, but then turned it around going 4-2. Pitchers pitching great, batters batting great. Now, 25 runs in the last 5 games. That's very impressive, Stephen. And I really like what I'm seeing. Hopefully they can continue this as the season goes along.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, we were worried kind of about the bats because last year we saw the starting pitching doing really well. The bats just never quite got going the way we wanted to. I think we've seen a much bigger difference, Luke, especially in this Orioles series. What did you see from Texas?
Well, the main thing is, the little lasso celly, we got something going on. We have a culture on the team. That's amazing. And here you see Ezekiel Duran going yard. He didn't do that all year last year. So, it's everyone going together. Everybody is putting it together at the same time. And that's the recipe for success. 1 through 9, we don't have any holes besides, Josh Young's been struggling, and he had a 2-hit game last time out, even through the loss. And you've had Chuck Peterson kind of struggling, but his hard hit rate's been up. And then you have Andrew McCutchen platooning with him, who's been amazing. So you have everybody working together. I love it.
So 2 for 21 for Josh Young, 0 for 8 for Jock Peterson. However, in this Red Series, Stephen, I really think by next week we'll be sitting here talking about how the Rangers are tied for the best record in baseball.
Okay, that's a hot take there. So Rohan, what did you see from them in this Baltimore series that really impressed you?
Well, taking 2 out of the first 3 was tough. Also, they haven't played a night game. If you count 5:35 as one, please don't. But
Eastern time.
Exactly. But for us, it's very different. And Texas Rangers, we're known to, play well on the road. And that's the thing that we'll get into a little bit later. But they've been absolutely amazing. And I want to see how they do at home in front of 35,000 to 40,000 fans on opening day.
Yeah, as we continue to watch through these Baltimore highlights, that's been something that's been very impressive because it's never easy to start a season with 2 road series, especially against Philadelphia and Baltimore, 2, pretty quality opponents. But I think what we've seen from Texas, as you guys said, is just the ability to be dynamic. We've seen the new guys like Brandon Nimmo right here stepping up, Kenley Jansen as well. I just feel like all of the new additions have really shined. We talked a lot about throughout the offseason, obviously Marcus Semien moving on, Adolis Garcia moving on. And Garcia, I think, still wants to be a Ranger based on that drop we saw against Philadelphia. But we've seen, I think, as you guys both mentioned, just a clubhouse culture, and I'm really, really impressed with that.
And they're getting runs in late innings.
Exactly.
Even on opening day, yes, they lost, but 3 runs in the 9th, 0 in the first 8, and as you saw them going yard in the 7th inning. So late innings, big production here from the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, definitely. And now we head into an opening weekend series, starting this Friday against Cincinnati Reds. That'll go through Sunday. Finally, we're back to Globe Life Field. Luke, what are you looking to see from Texas?
Man, I'm so excited. It's so hard in baseball season when you have one off day. It feels like a week.
It does.
It's so much. So, I'm excited to get back to it. I think Mackenzie Gore's on the bump tomorrow, and then he was so good in his first game. So it's just keep it rolling. We played the Phillies and the Orioles, 2 really good teams. The Phillies obviously made the playoffs the past, I don't know how many years, and the Orioles missed it last year, but we know how good they can be. And so now we go into the Cincinnati Reds, who aren't a bad team. They were the 6th seed last year, got swept by the Dodgers, but they're not anything special. They don't have very many stars outside of, Ellie De La Cruz. But other than that, I mean, I think this is the easiest team for us so far. If we can take advantage and we can, keep it rolling. I mean, just keep it rolling. That's the name of the game. Stay hot, and if you stay hot the whole season, you're a playoff team.
And you mentioned Mackenzie Gore, another huge new addition for Texas, and I think the starting pitching has been very impressive so far. We've seen Nathan Eovaldi, I think, had some struggles in those first couple games, as you said. I think he'll get it going. But Rohan, overall, what have you seen from the starting pitchers?
Starting pitching has been excellent. We haven't seen Kumar Rocker with the slider, but we've seen Eovaldi, we've seen DeGrom. These guys are big-time players, and even Jacob Latson, their lighter in there. So this rotation, like I said, I was on here 2 weeks ago talking about how this Rangers rotation, if healthy, top 5 in baseball. And I want to ask y'all if y'all agree with that, if healthy.
Yeah, I want to talk about, because we have, obviously Eovaldi DeGrom is the big two. Mackenzie Gore looks super good in his first start. But I want to talk about Jack Leiter.
Yes.
He is so good. And you can look at the numbers. He had a pretty solid start against the Orioles. But the bigger part of it is how good his stuff looks, especially with that cutter added on. I tuned into the Orioles broadcast for, I think it was like the 6th inning or something, and even they were talking about, wow, this guy's cutter is so good. We didn't see a cutter on his arsenal last year, because his cutter, I mean, his fastball moves arm side, and then you have the cutter that moves just enough glove side, and he takes a little bit of velocity off of it, and it's so good. It just adds that much to his pitching. His already super nasty repertoire, and he adds a cutter to that. This dude he's going to be so good.
And his command is great, because if you really look at opening day, why was Evo given the start? Is it that he's better than DeGrom? No. It's because he earned it last year too. And DeGrom, I said that he would get injured early in the season. What happened? His very first start, Steven, didn't even play. So what am I going to say about that? That's why I have to say if healthy, because if DeGrom is an all-time player in this Rangers rotation, man, when they get going, they're hard to stop.
Yeah, and I liked what you mentioned about Jack Leiter, because Jack Leiter is a player for me that I was waiting to see this breakout, and I think we saw about half of that last year. I really feel like he improved as the season went on. He spent a lot of time in Double-A, but I just feel like he found a way, especially last year, to just kind of show that progression, show that potential, and now this year, adding that cutter. I'm really, really excited to see the future for Jack Leiter and the rest of this pitching staff. So I want to talk now beyond, just the starting pitching, the bullpen as well. Because the bullpen, I feel like year after year is always the biggest question for this Rangers team. It's like, it's going to be new, revamped, how's it going to work? It's been working okay. I can't say I'm too disappointed so far. It's been maybe not exactly what you'd expect, but I don't know. Tyler Alexander, 2 saves. Rohan, what you seen from the bullpen?
Yeah, like you said, Tyler Alexander, 2 saves, but Cole Winn is the guy that I want to look at, because I want to see if he gets thrown into the fire. Down 5-3, can he get us out of that game? Because our offense has now shown, it's a small sample size, but they've shown that, hey, they can hit better than anybody, especially now that we have pitching to go along with it. They can dominate on both sides of the ball. How many times have we been able to say that, Steven, for so many years?
Yeah, it's been a minute, and I just feel like it's always something kind of going, we're getting the bats going, and then the bullpen struggles, and the starting pitchers get hurt. There's always something. So far, I don't know, that hasn't been there. I've been really impressed. You guys mentioned Andrew McCutchen. This is a 39-year-old that they signed to a minor league deal, and he's come in, has the best batting average on the team, and it just shows, I don't know, just the camaraderie and just really what this team's got going. I've been impressed, and I want to talk about a whole lot of new, as we've mentioned. Skip Schumacher, obviously brand new manager in town, and of course Jordan Teagues replacing Mike Maddox as pitching coach. It's a lot of new, but I think I've been pleasantly surprised from what we've seen so far. What have you seen from them, Luke?
Yeah, I think it'll take a little longer for me to have an opinion on Jordan Teagues, just because, you have to see throughout the season how he progresses the pitching, how he manages their workload, all that stuff. And I think it's hard when you're following up Mike Maddox, such a great pitching coach. But Skip Schumacher, man, I love me some Skip Schumacher already. He just seems so good. I liked Bruce Bochy, but his type of managing style was kind of starting to get outdated, and it just didn't really work anymore. The only thing that I want to see from Skip Schumacher is what he's going to do about the closer situation. We don't have a closer right now, and I think he knows that better than anyone else, because he's throwing everybody out there. He's thrown multiple people, I think like 3 or 4 people to close. And we're only 6 games into the season, so I don't think we know who our closer is yet, so I'm interested to see what he does with that.
Exactly, because he said it himself. He was a little surprised if you had told him before the season started that Tyler Alexander would have 2 saves. He only has 1 in his entire career before this. So there's not really an established closer. As you said, Robert Garcia is a name that's been mentioned. Chris Martin has kind of worked in that setup role. And as you said, it makes me nervous. Rohan, what do you think about this closer situation?
I think it's a story that we've been talking about for many years.
Yeah.
Good starting rotation, bad bullpen, bad closing. And to be quite honest with you, there isn't a name out there. Can we get something at the trade deadline? Supposedly, you have to look at your first 50 games. Tyler Alexander has 2 saves. Why not keep it going? Because I remember last year us talking about, don't you want to keep the bats going? Because the offense was going hot. If you're closing and you're doing it well, I don't see any reason why you would get replaced.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, what are you thinking, Luke?
I mean, my only problem with Tyler Alexander is not only his stuff's not great,
Exactly.
but
Yep.
It's working.
he's been.
Is it sustainable though?
The games have been rocky. He's been getting it done, but it's been a little rocky.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And obviously, a long season ahead. We're going to continue to cover it, but we're going to move over to March Madness and talk about the women's bracket coming up next.